Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Today's question comes from Erica in Kentucky.
Yeah, she says, my husband runs a landscaping company that's owned by his father. He's been told for years that he'll be taking over the business soon, and he does everything in the business except collect the checks and send the invoices. He has put in a ton of time and invested a lot of money into this business, but he makes the same hourly wage as the other employees on payroll. He's trying to be patient, but with the low pay and amount of work that he has put in, it doesn't add up for me, and personally, I think he's being used. His dad is now trying to talk him into buying equipment with debt to invest into the business he doesn't yet own. I'm stuck in the middle and seem to have no say because he trusts his family's promises. How can I best support my husband while also keeping things cordial in the family?
You can't. Okay, so in Genesis it says, a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And that's where the old-time preacher would say, leave and cleave. You leave your father and mother and you cleave, an old English term that became part of the biblical lingo because of King James Version of the Bible. But you leave your parents and cling to your spouse. Your husband has not done that. You have a marriage problem.
I agree.
He's still married to his daddy.
100%. You know, whether they're intending to use him or not, it's not a fair situation. Just reading what you've wrote, there's nothing fair here. If he's doing a job and it's above and beyond what other workers are being paid for the job that they're doing, yeah, that's unfair. Now, there is something to be said for...
but we can't even have that discussion because he won't talk to her. He listens to daddy.
Yeah. But I mean, back when I used to work in the cruise business, they would say, you know, I signed my contract, you signed yours, which was basically a saying of, hey, don't complain to me now that this is not fair because you knew what you were getting into when you signed it. And so there's part of it, I'm like, the more that he continues to sign that contract, he's saying, yes, I agree with
the problem is not your father-in-law. The problem is your husband.
Yeah, because he's agreeing.
Yeah, he's going along with this and he's not listening to his wife. Okay. Now, if we stop there and say, okay, I'm going to quit doing that. I'm going to listen to my wife, and my wife says this is unfair. Now we can talk about, is it unfair or not? Well, here's some good rules for family business, and I coach a lot of family businesses. Got a world-famous podcast called Entree Leadership, where I coach family businesses every single week, and you know, millions and tens of thousands of them are being coached by us right now by Ramsey, okay? So we deal with them all the time. So here's the guidelines, very simple. You do not invest money in a business you do not own. I don't care who owns it or what the promise was, period. If I walked up off the street and said, hey, Mr. Employee, would you put money into my business? Well, they'd have to be brain damaged to do that. The only time you'd be brain damaged enough to do that would be your own stupid family. So, no, we're not doing it with a stupid family either. No, number one. Number two, when you work in any business, you're only worth what the marketplace says that position is worth. You're not worth any more because you're the golden child, or any less because you're family. We get to work our family for free. That's why we had a lot of kids. No, that's not the plan. This is not what we're doing. And so Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, makes exactly the same percentage on royalties on books, exactly the same percentage on speaking gigs that Jade sitting beside me makes. Rachel Cruz makes the same as John Deloney. Now, they don't have the same income, but they have the same percentage of their deal. Now, one of them may sell more books or less books. One of them may have more speaking or whatever, right? But that's not the point. The point is they're on the same schedule, and she gets paid for that, not because she's my daughter. And she doesn't get paid less because she's my daughter either. And so that's a simple formula that you should go with. The third formula with family business is if you say you're going to turn over a business to a family member, you need to never say that unless you say when. Someday it'll all be yours. When you're 76 and I'm 104, right? What kind of crap is that? That vague stuff. Nobody knows what you're talking about. You got one. So when you say to a 30-year-old, someday it'll all be yours, he thinks next week. And you think a decade from now. Mm-hmm. So you need to say, not someday. You need to say, and so you need to work hard. Someday it'll all be yours. Oh, brother. How about I don't want to be in the landscaping business with you? There's a whole new idea, too. Mm-hmm. I'd rather start my own thing. I could make 3 times as much money as you're paying me. So there's all that can come up only after we can have some basic family business principles in place for operating a family business and treating each other with equity and with dignity and with high communication levels. And then you don't get to play the role of resentful wife either. You have to play the role of supportive wife then.
That's right.
If your husband wants to do this, he likes working with his dad, and he's being treated fairly, and I don't think you're saying you just don't like these people, but you're starting to not like them because they're standing between you and your husband, and that's a fair complaint right there.
Yeah. She said, I'm stuck in the middle.
How do you get stuck in the middle? You can't get stuck in the middle of one.
Thank you. I'm like, there's a party there that should not be there. Party of one.
Yeah. So I think you and your husband need to sit down and discuss who's in charge here of your life, you and him or his daddy. And then once we decide that, then we can have a discussion about who gets paid what and if we want to take this business over and under what circumstances. But this is where it is. And so, yeah, it's
those are tough conversations.
Yeah, it is.
Because when you're in it, like if it's your family, sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees. But then if you're the in-law, it's like you can't say, you know what I mean? Like there's certain things that as the in-law, it's like you can't say to your family in-law, right? Because it just creates...
She can't talk to them at all.
No, she can't.
She's not got any footing to do it at all. Plus, she's pissed off.
Yeah,
so it's not going to go well.
If you write a letter to a radio show, you pissed. All right.
Just put it in that bucket right there. Yeah. Yeah. I don't care how much language. I really like them you put in there. You wrote a letter to a podcast. Yeah. So I'm just saying that's what, you honey, you got a marriage problem. And, you need to stop being angry with your father-in-law. He's not the problem. Your husband's the problem. The two of you being on the same page and him putting you and him as a family unit ahead of everything else starts the conversation. That's where it is. Leave and cleave. It's an interesting study. Look it up. The number of people who never leave their mother, never leave their father after they're married, and the damage that does to their marriage relationship it's everywhere.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's hard to do it when you live in their basement.
Oh gosh, you always take it to the next level.
Always go there too. Just helping you with this. Yep.
Oh boy. Yeah, that's important.
Whew. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Jade, you know why we will always have a compelling and entertaining show? Because human beings are going to do stupid stuff.
100%.
And we human beings, when we do stupid stuff, me and you included, we're just downright entertaining.
Yeah, 100%. Every time.
This whole building wealth thing, the math is 6th grade. It's the stupid humans that mess it up. It doesn't require any thought. I mean, there's not that much to it. Live on less than you make. Yeah. Well, we'd be out of business.
Well, and the funny thing is it's the same stuff over and over, and we've all done it.
But it's relational.
Yeah.
It's, I was reading a thing the other day. It matters more, in terms of wealth building, it matters more who you marry than where you went to school.
All day. I believe that all day. So important.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.